Offensive line climb into the second level.
Here's Brown again with running room. And
zone stretch right here for Illinois. The general play here for Illinois is to step right here. Given that Michigan is slanting to their right as well, this helps them on this play. Key guy to watch here is this right tackle. He's going to initially pop Hutchinson before getting to the second level, and that's where this play is made. This lead H-back here is going to kick out anyone on the outside to try to form this hole out of this pistol set. It's a give just here to the running back for an off-tackle zone run. So yeah, like I said, Hutchinson is getting passed off from the tackle here, and this tackle is then going to reach to the second level. The guard will now have Hutchinson. See the H-back getting out here. So you're going to have Hudson coming upfield here. He's responsible for anything outside, so he has to create this wall to force his running back inside. He does his job. Next two guys are Glasgow backside, and you have Cam McGrone here. These are the two key players, and especially watch McGrone. So let's move forward here. As I said, this tackle passed off Hutchinson, who's being accounted for by the guard now. So right here, this running back has a decision. The outside is getting properly accounted for by Hudson here. So this running back is coming here in this lane. So the key decision for McGrone at this point, he has to take on this tackle. Does he try to cut up field under it, or does he go outside of him? He should be engaging this tackle and getting his outside arm free because he has Glasgow coming to the inside. He'll have any flow backwards. Instead, McGrone goes upfield. That allows this tackle to edge him off, and McGrone trying to do Glasgow's job allows for this big lane to open up for the running back. So that's definitely a big misplay by McGrone here. Glasgow was in the right position, and now Glasgow has to essentially fill the role that McGrone was supposed to on accounting for this big gap left open. He eventually makes the tackle, but that's what takes us from a potential, 2-3 yard gain to 15.
2nd and 10. Robinson in trouble, gets rid of the pass. It is caught.
Ambry Thomas gets burned here on this mesh concept. Let's look at Michigan's pass rush here. They're sending 5, so you're going to have a little stunt here on the left side here between Hutchinson and I think this is Dwum 4. Kemp gets a really good jump here. He gets a little bit of push here on interior, and then Dana on the right side here. Then you're going to have Glasgow on the outside. He actually does a really good job getting pressure on the quarterback, forces a kind of jump throw from the quarterback. So it's a good pass rush here. So you have 5 offensive linemen for Illinois, and they don't pick up Glasgow at the time of the throw. You see he does get pressure here. The whole route concept for Illinois is mesh. So these two wide receivers here are just crossing the middle of the field, as well as this running back is coming out here. That's all to get as much conflict for Ambry Thomas here. So with this running back route, it's trying to get Cam McGrone in the way of Thomas following this route for this wide receiver across the middle here, as well as trying to get Khaleke Hudson and Dax Hill, I think that is. Maybe Brad Hawkins. But anyways, get all of these defensive backs in the way of Ambry Thomas for this main mesh route right here. So it looks like it's a bad initial reaction here from Thomas. It looks like at this point he's already a step behind. And then he's got a lot of traffic here. He gets a little bit lost. So that's a big issue here. You see he's at least a couple steps behind. We didn't get a really good angle of what happened, but I think it was a bad initial footwork, as well as he had to cut upfield a little bit in order to get back on route. So watch again his footwork here. He looks like he's already a step behind, right? I might be crazy, but looks like he's already a step behind, and then he was a little bit too far upfield, and he had to really cut inside here to reroute. He does make up some ground here with his speed to make the tackle, so that is a pro, but can't be getting burned like that. We'll see that a lot this year.
58 to go in the half. Illinois with the ball on its 33-yard line. And receiver is open in the middle of the field. The first
RPO slant here for Illinois. Sorry for the double rewind here. But Michigan's bringing 4 initially on pressure here, and then you have a little bit of a shuffle here from Dana on the right side of the defensive line here. You're going to have Cam McGrone filling to the outside here, and then you're going to have late Cleek Hudson coming up off of this edge. So sending quite a bit of pressure, but it's also an RPO, so they're coming up on the run threat here. So nothing too much to note here, given that it is a keep pass read here. So something that Michigan did to adjust to their route combinations that Illinois is running. This, we can ignore this side, but this inside receiver is running this wheel route, and then you'll have the slant here from the outside wide receiver. What the defensive backs for Michigan have been doing here, in this case, when you see this wheel route, they will switch. So this defensive back is in perfect position here to switch to this wheel route and follow that. And then the inside wide receiver is able to intercept this slant route and pick that up. So the issue here is that Ambry Thomas correctly recognizes this is a switch situation on this route combination. Metellus does not get that. So his eyes go correctly to number 9. However, he follows this wheel route instead of going with the slant route at this point. So that leaves this wide open field, and the quarterback properly takes that. One more aspect here on the RPO. So you can see the quarterback looking at Cleek Hudson. Hudson is clearly coming up. That is going to vacate this area. So given this action from Cleek Hudson plus this missed route combination adjustment here between the two defensive backs, that makes it an easy pitch and catch for Illinois for a big gain here. So bummer, but just a missed assignment.
Another pass play. Robinson has to step up. Keeps the play alive. Dumps it off inside the 10. Ivan Baby.
Scramble for Illinois for a touchdown here. Let's look at Michigan's pass rush. Uche gets decent pressure here off the edge at around 8 yards. Issue is with this stunt that Michigan's running on the left edge here. So going forward, defensive tackles running a stunt here. Issue here is both of these defensive tackles here and Hutchinson defensive end come upfield. Instead, they should be coming downhill to occupy these 3 offensive linemen. Instead, they don't do that. They kind of had way too much upfield. That's too long of a path for Dwayne Ford to realistically get any pressure. Given Uche is also doing a speed rush, that leaves a wide open lane here for the quarterback to step up in the pocket and off to the left, which he takes advantage of. As the play breaks down, sending 2 linebackers here as the play is breaking down in covering the quarterback run. Jordan Glasgow is appropriately doing so. Cam McGrone should not. He should be IDing this guy as a man he needs to cover now. Given that he's coming upfield, that leaves the middle of the field open, which the quarterback takes advantage of. Looking at the route combo, we see this later on from Illinois. They run these 2 wide receivers across the middle for this mesh concept from this inner wide receiver on the other side. And this running back's running a wheel route here. That's all to create chaos in the middle of the field here, to try to get multiple defenders for Michigan in the secondary tripped up. Then outside wide receivers just running a post route, not really applicable here. But we'll see this route combo later on in one of the plays I analyze here. So given that Michigan's in zone, mesh concept doesn't really work. As the play breaks down, this guy's open for a second. Michigan covers it with Metellus. Ambry Thomas is going to be accounted for here. This post route's covered. This guy's covered. So again, main issue is right here. Both linebackers decide to come up. Glasgow's appropriate in doing so. If McGrone stays here, it should be a dead play. He decides to also come up. Quarterback makes a nice find, and that's a touchdown.
The passing game.
You saw, Greg, the average third down, 3rd and 11. Here's Robinson, and it's complete for a first.
Quick slant here to the outside. Looks like Michigan is defending this with it in mind of covering this. But we'll so I won't really look at the defensive line here just because it's a quick pass and they don't really have any bearing here. But first thing to point out is that Gray is giving inside leverage on this route, given that both Hudson and Hawkins will be challenging the lane here for this pass. So Vincent Gray here will prioritize keeping the outside. In the case that this is coming inside, he'll have help from Hudson and Hawkins. Looking at Hudson first, he initially comes upfield before reading the quarterback's eyes, and then he'll fall back and get close to right in the path. You see, he falls back, he's following the eyes, he recognizes this is a pass coming across the middle, and then he's just a bit, maybe if he jumped like a split second, he would have been able to shift over this way, but he barely gets, doesn't get in the path of the ball. So it's a completion. It's a bigger issue here for Brad Hawkins, who's coming from middle of the field, rotating this way. He way overcompensates it, even more so out of position than Hudson. So I don't even really know what he's reading to keep coming this way. But at the time of the throw, he is well out of the path of the ball. So it's a bummer that Michigan had two guys to account for an over-the-middle pass, especially because seems like Vincent Gray was given the inside because we had these two defensive backs in case of this quick slant. So bit of a bummer there. Just missed it. But that's how it goes sometimes.
Robinson, he's got a lot of green. He's going to get the first down and more.
Michigan sends 4 on pressure. Nothing really to account for here on the bottom of the defensive line, the right side here. Main thing that Hutchinson does here, he engages the tackle before going inside, and that's to try to free up Josh Uche along the outside. So Uche has actually a free run to the backfield here. I want you to watch how he engages the running back, and that's kind of what creates this possibility. So Hutchinson, you can see, is inside. That's already creating this lane. Uche takes the running back head on and then tries to get around to the outside. Really, he should have been trying to generate the pass rush from the inside. Given Hutchinson also went inside here, that leaves this lane wide open again for Robinson on the scramble here that we saw earlier was an issue as well for the touchdown play. So given Uche decided to go upfield and around the outside, that's what's really allowing this path for the quarterback. Looking at the route combo for Illinois here, this guy's running a crossing route. It's really the only route that will bring a Michigan defensive back onto this side of the field. The other routes, this guy just kind of runs a go route at the top of the screen. And then you have a route combo here. I think this guy runs sort of a post route here. And this guy is kind of running an inside release slant route, I believe. Yeah. So this guy's running a crossing route. This guy's running like maybe a crossing route or like a deeper cross route here. So you can see that the main thing is that this side of the field is completely vacated after this scramble here for the quarterback. So he does a good job recognizing it. Hutchinson and Uche are the main culprits here. I think mainly Uche. He needs to get this rush to the inside instead of going around the outside, given that this Hutchinson motion is to free up Uche's pass rush. So good play design, just kind of unfortunate that's how the pressure released for Robinson there for a first down.
Closer if not for that blocked punt by Glasgow. Here's a catch.
Simple slant here from Illinois. Michigan sending 5 on pressure, sorry. So you have 1. You got a little stunt here between Dwumfor and Dana here. And then you have here, and Glasgow's coming on a blitz to the outside. Given it's a quick slant here, pressure doesn't really, this is Kemp on the inside. Pressure doesn't really get there, given it's a quick slant. So looking at the routes for Illinois, you have this little kind of shuffle here that turns into a slant, and then you kind of have double slants here as well. So it's pretty simple concept here off of the play action. Main thing to pay attention to is the off coverage from Hawkins. He is way off of this slant, so this makes it a really easy release, really easy pitch and catch. Not really sure why they're aligned this way or what Michigan saw to align this way, but obviously that's the right route to run against it, and Hawkins is maybe a tad late getting there. You'd like to see him come upfield and challenge this throw, at least make it a more difficult read for the quarterback, but really easy pitch and catch. At least, you got number 14 Metellus with a really nice hit here right after the catch. But yeah, just kind of peculiar. Decent pressure if it's a longer run. Glasgow comes through and delivers a nice pop to Running back, it looks like the pocket is collapsing, but it's just an easy pitch and catch based on the alignment for Michigan.
And the sticks, but they've been in rhythm offensively.
Rayvon Bonner with the cutback. And
Power left here for a big gain from Illinois. Let's look at their blocking scheme. So front side guard and center will be blocking down to their right. This tackle is looking to get out to the middle linebacker McGrone here. The backside guard will pull. He's looking to seal the edge here. Then the tackle will lead on the outside here for the running back coming across the formation here. You'll look for a crack block here. Tough job from the wide receiver here, though. So they all do a pretty good job. You can notice the middle of the line for Michigan doesn't help here. So let's back up and see kind of what Michigan is doing on the defensive line. It looks like they're really crashing, especially defensive tackles are crashing inside towards the center, and the defensive ends are coming down quite hard with the blitzer Hudson around the edge. So obviously this blitz is a bit of a loss given that the action of the play is going to the left. So that's one player down for that. So Dana gets himself caught inside here. I don't know if that's by design, but he's crashing really hard. That makes it a really easy job for the pulling guard to pick him up, and that leaves this tackle free to come through here. So let's back up. I think McGrone is partially to blame here. So obviously he had this play side tackle here to deal with, and he does a good job of beating him inside. I think he needs to come straight up field here because you have him and you have Glasgow coming here. You have one blocker here. This tackle needs to decide, okay, who am I going to take? If McGrone meets him right here at the line of scrimmage, comes up here, then this running back has nowhere to go but outside of that tackle, which Glasgow will beat. Instead, again, we see McGrone take the outside path here, so him and Glasgow are now in the same gap. That leaves this cutback for the running back. Running back takes advantage of that. Good open field tackle from Hawkins, but I ding McGrone a little bit for over pursuing a bit and not filling that gap, not taking on that tackle head on, which leaves both him and Glasgow doing the same job. But again, good job by Hawkins.
Coverage. Let's see if he looks in that direction.
that's where he's going. Iman Orbebe, the receiver, jump ball, he's got it.
Gray and Metellus misplay a fade a little bit here. Let's look at the pass rush for Michigan. They're sending 5 on pass rush. So you're going to have Uche one-on-one on the left side defensive line here. And then similar sort of stunt here between defensive linemen here and the linebackers. So on the edge here, Dana is going to go slightly inside after coming upfield. And it looks like, I think this is Kemp just goes straight upfield. Both Glasgow and McGrone are going to cut outside, or I guess to the right of each of these defensive linemen to try to provide a pass rush. And both these linemen want to occupy 2 linemen to help free up the linebackers. So it doesn't really fool them on this side. This tackle does a good job staying home for McGrone on the outside. Glasgow unfortunately trips on his pass rush, but it looks like he would have had a path here as there's 2 linemen accounting for Kemp here on the middle. So it looks like this would have been a good path for Glasgow had he not tripped. At the time of the throw, there's no pressure, so not the best here. Is a relatively quick throw here. So let's look at the coverage for this play. So Gray is a step behind, and this is a tall wide receiver, so it's a tough ask here. Metellus is really, really misplaying this fade here. He should be up here contesting this pass at the very least, if not intercepting it. He's back here trying to play for the interception. Maybe he lost it in the sun, but really he should be playing this much better. Instead, he's coming back here. He should be looking to disrupt the pass rather than getting an interception if nobody touches it, which obviously isn't likely. So he's not challenging the pass. As a result, it's a big pickup. Got to play that better if you're Metellus. Gray got a little bit beat, but more of a minus for Metellus than anyone else here.
Robinson throwing downfield. It's caught.
Really clever play design here for Illinois. Let's look at the offensive line first. So they're all zone blocking to the left here, and they're leaving Dana here unblocked to come upfield. So he does, and the read here for the running back is made just to give pause to Dana here, force him to think about it while the quarterback keeps, rolls out here, and then passes to this eventual streak here. On the backside, you got this little bubble screen action as well. So all of this action from the offensive line as well as the bubble screen action is to occupy these defensive backs as well as get the linebackers to flow this way with the defensive line. And then the action here with the keep and the action to the running back is really trying to get this safety here, Metellus, to react poorly. And then obviously you have a one-on-one matchup here that Illinois clearly wants to win. So that's kind of the overall design of the play. The keep does well to keep Dana home to give enough room for the quarterback to roll out here. And watch as the keep does get Metellus, instead of dropping back in pass coverage here for over-the-top help, he is coming up on the keep. That gives plenty of room for this wide receiver who beats Gray off of the line of scrimmage. He has the inside leverage. So inside leverage without a safety over the top, that's a clear pass here on the fly route, which he takes advantage of. So clever play design. It's well executed. Gray could have done a little better, and it's understandable for Metellus to come up, as it does look like a keep here, but this is his responsibility. So another play where Gray could have done better, but Metellus is supposed to be there for inside help as well. So better play design than any negatives for Michigan here, but you do want to see Gray do a little bit better to be in a good position to contest that pass, as well as Metellus to react a little bit better as well.
Get out of their way with penalties.
Robinson to throw. Here's a screen. Caught at the 20-yard line. Blockers in front. Stampley to the 10.
Well designed and well executed tunnel screen here. Michigan is sending 5 on the pass rush. This is Cam McGrone at the top of the screen. He's coming off the edge, as well as 4 defensive linemen for Michigan. The tackles are going to stay in to block. The 3 interior defensive linemen are going to head upfield to the secondary to try to pick up blocks. So no real chance, given that it's a screenplay, for any pressure at the time of the throw. Outside wide receivers here occupy these defensive backs. So they're just trying to get these defensive backs to not pay attention to any of the activity interior here. Running back motioning out here on wheel route here is just to occupy Glasgow, and that accomplishes him. He's out of this play. So this wide receiver is going to cut in before coming back for the catch on the tunnel screen. This is the key player right here. Come out for a block on Hawkins. The success of this play hinges on Cleek Hudson's ability to recognize that it is a screenplay. If he follows for too long, that opens up this interior lane for the screen. If he recognizes it early, that allows him to disrupt this flow and allow for the defensive line to pursue, as well as other players to recognize the action of the screen and react quickly. So that's kind of the what Illinois is looking to do here. So issue number 1, look how late that Hudson realizes this is now a screen. Ball's already in the air somewhere here, and this is way too much room. The blockers already have their leverage to get out upfield. So wide receiver is accounting for 2 players. That's a numbers advantage. Next, look at this offensive guard. He picks up a really nice block on Hudson, also affects Hawkins there. That's really big. There's really a lot of options for this wide receiver. Vincent Gray needs to do a better job of turning his shoulders upfield. Instead, he kind of chases too far this way, and that really allows this wide receiver to bounce easily without much congestion. So mainly a misplay by Cleek Hudson here. Also good play design, but Gray takes this from maybe an 8-yard pickup to a potential touchdown. Decent tackle from Metellus on the sideline.